What's up, everybody? Let's start this bad boy very, very strong by simply doing the whole share screen thing. That's right, I learned stuff. And showing off what my dream project is. Yes, friends, my dream project is the Millennium Falcon in 1/12 scale from the Star Wars Hasbro Black Series kind of HasLab team. I think they'd kill it. They've shown that they kind of kill it with this kind of stuff. So I'm in. Now, the thing is, I think they'd have to make it super modular, and I kind of wonder, could they even do this? Is this even possible? My gut is no, because I think what they'd have to do is get a whole lot of money up front, or at least, at the very least, a guarantee that people would spend X amount a month until the whole thing was done. It'd probably take a couple years to get finished, if even that. It might take longer, and you're paying like $100 a month, who knows, to make it happen. And it would almost be a contract. Like, there's no backing out of this because there's no guarantee that the people that start picking it up, like with the first part, if they were to piece it out, would still be around for the fourth or fifth part, however many parts it took to make it happen. So yeah, I'm thinking this one's a definite dream project for me, but it's a dream because I'm not sure it's going to happen. Now, for all you folks watching on the replay, comment below and let me know what's your dream project from absolutely any company out there, because we need to know these things. Those companies need to know these things. They need to know that you're looking to them to make something that's really cool, that you dig. And hopefully, if they do enough of their homework, they'll discover, wow, it's not just that person that really digs this stuff. So yeah, that's where the fun's at. That's the good time. That is my ultimate dream projects. Now, dream projects, that's one dream project. So that one is my ultimate one. Now, let's stop the whole screen here. There we go. And now I'm going to tell you a little something about others I have, but I have to look them up real quick. Just kind of, I should have had some tabs open, but I was ready. I was pretty well ready to go. I was all right with everything here. I'm pretty impressed with myself, especially if you were here the other night and you saw that show. That was rough. All right, let's find. I'm still typing, but we're close. We're close here. Let's grab this, and let's go in and share the screen. Do 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 do. Share screen. Share screen. Let's get this bad boy. Yep, that's something else that I desperately need, folks. I need this Batmobile. And not just this Batmobile, not just that kind of craziness, right? I need it to come from MothX. I need an 89 Batmobile from Medicom MothX. That would make me unbelievably happy. Now, I know McFarlane did the 89 Batmobile, and it doesn't look bad, but the first one that came out had that great canopy. There aren't two seats in the whole thing. There's not a lot of extra stuff. This is the stuff that I need, is this kind of thing. I just need it to be, what is the word? Yes, awesome. So yeah, those are two of the dream projects I've got. Now, let's see, what do we got going on here? We have SKU Raider. That's right. Already piping in and typing stuff. And that's me again, learning how to do the things. Now, let's stop the screen. See that? I'm learning. Pretty happy about that. Let's see. Woo! Thank you, SKU Raider. I appreciate it. I'm going to need to do this, sadly. My vanity. Woo. Effects and shares, huh? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm the big time now. I'm figuring things out. I was able to actually play in the background of this one. I wasn't able to do a whole lot of playing when it came to using YouTube, But StreamYard, it's showing me a little more love, so I'm a little stoked. So, SKU what are you thinking? What is your dream project? Let's hear this. We're still waiting on a few more folks to join in, but once they do, things are really going to get cooking. I'm probably only going to be on this for about an hour or so because I have a Tuesday morning standing appointment. So every week, the Monday live streams, if I'm able to keep going every week, probably will end around 9 Eastern Standard Time. So that's where I'm at. And until we keep going with more people joining up and hanging out, why don't we go with another project I've got in mind? And let me know what you think of this. So I want a Yoda hut, like a Dagobah hut from Empire Strikes Back. I don't know who'd make it. That sounds kind of like a ramen toys joint to me. Who knows? But I'm not even sure anyone else would want it, to be honest. But for me, that's something that I'd be a big fan of. There were 3 characters when it came to Star Wars that I was huge fans of. One was Han Solo, one was Darth Vader, and one was Yoda. And depending on the day, I liked the one more than the other, but most days it ended up being Yoda. So yeah, I just want that hut. So let's see what you've got here, SKU. Let's see. Please continue. Oh, one of my favorite subjects. Let's see. Please continue. This is one of my favorite subjects. Any and everything from the 80s until today to other times. I love the Ramen Racers, Bread Van, Batmobile Like You, G.I. Joe vehicles, Turtle Van, etc. Yoda Hut will be awesome. Thank you, sir. Oh, yeah. Star Wars. Ooh. Star Wars, too awesome. I need more of that Star Wars stuff. That Millennium Falcon would be awesome too, and great Star Wars figures. Ooh, you know, I don't want to bust on the Black Series team too hard. I think SHF does really sweet Star Wars figures. They're not perfect, but they're pretty good. The Black Series team, I think they crush it with the sculpts, to be perfectly honest. There are some factory mishaps, like we saw with Balin's Skull, but overall, I think the sculpts crush it. I think the licensing fee and whatever Hasbro's insistent profit margin is what prevents the Black Series figures from being exquisite. Like if they were able to come with a lot more extra stuff, I think the Black Series would be pretty great. But right now, it's basically the Yub Nubs for me and maybe a few droids here and there. But yeah, all right, let's see. SKU Radar. Agreed. The articulation skimping versus licensing fee and profit margin. Yep. Yeah, I think I'm pretty close. If I haven't hit it absolutely perfectly. Another one of Hasbro's problems is the fact that it is a publicly traded company, and because of that, they have shareholders, which is basically, in my view, an extra layer of middle management. So that's where some of that profit margin has to go into pleasing them. And just real quick business talk, usually you want your company to really try and keep your employees safe, to make them feel like they can blow it a couple times, to make them just feel secure in their jobs. And when you're publicly traded, that doesn't go over so well. But if employees feel great at their jobs, they can usually deliver fantastic product for other people. And so when there's cuts every couple years or every couple months, as it sometimes seems with some of these publicly traded companies, that makes it tough to feel safe at work. It's not a good time. But yeah, let's see. Whew, we're having all kinds of fun now, SKU. All right. I'm trying to think what all I put in there. Oh, you know what I'd love? Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can find this thing. I would love, and I did a video on all this, but want to show this off as I'm looking here. I want Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. And I want a picture to come up so I can show it off. Hang on. All right. Let's see here. We're coming close. Here it is. Oh, pop up. I'm on the Wikipedia and it's not wanting to load for me. Here we go. All right. Now, Let's share this bad boy. Okay, I'm not quite as quick on the whole sharing thing, but we're getting there. And there you go. That I would love to get a hold of one of those things because, frankly, I think the Black Series team, the HasLab team, could do it. I just don't know. I just don't know necessarily how they do it. Like, there are some people that would get annoyed if you had to put it together on your own, but that would also save so much on shipping costs that maybe more people would buy it, and maybe the profit margin, or I guess the net profit that Hasbro would make, would be better if they could kind of pull them apart and you could assemble them once you got your HasLab. Personally, I'd be okay with that, but I don't like stickers, and I know a lot of people that are the opposite of that. So yeah, different strokes, I suppose. But yeah, this TIE Advanced, I would love that. I'd love Luke's X-Wing. I would love, oh man, I would love for MoffX to get a license to do any of the Justice League of America stories. Hang on, let's see what I can find there. We'll stop with that. That would be fun for me. But first, let's see what we've got. Photo Dave, that would be sweet. I'm a huge Rogue Squadron X-Wing versus TIE Fighter fan. In particular, bring on those fighters, man. An X-Wing, oh yeah. And they have the TIE Fighter mold, so that would be pretty cool, I think. And I always wonder, because I know a lot of people didn't like the sequel trilogy, and this is something we'll never be able to really see or prove. I don't think. It would depend on what Hasbro's HasLab team decided to do. But I always wonder if the TIE Fighter, because it is such a huge, well-known, insanely popular ship across all kinds of pop culture, like the Snowspeeder, a lot of Star Wars people know it, but the TIE Fighter, pretty much everyone the world over knows that. So I kind of wonder if they had gone original trilogy styling on the TIE Fighter, if it would have sold better. So maybe it is a contender for the HasLab, but who really knows? I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, what do we have? Just the wings assembly. Let's see. Oh yeah, like the old Kenner versions on a high level would work. I think you're right. I mean, especially if we're talking, I mean, we could do that with the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter. And that would just be incredible. Like, it would save so much on shipping. I can't imagine the engineering to come up with just connecting, like a connecting post or something on there, would be insanely difficult compared to what they do with a lot of toys these days. But again, I'm not a toy engineer, so I can't be 100%. So I guess we'd have to see. Let's see. Oh, Gunstar1. Thanks, man. Thanks for dropping in and saying what's up. Evening from the desert. So, how about you, Gunstar? What are you thinking? What's a dream project you have from any line, any company out there? I've already gone over talking about how I would love to see MoffX tackle an 89 Batmobile, but who knows how many people go nuts for that. They might just have a target market of one. But I was starting to say also, I would love to see MoffX get a license for a Justice League book. That way they could do Batman and Superman, which they kind of have to do to keep the A-listers in there, and then throw in Wonder Woman, because I desperately need a MoffX Wonder Woman. So there's another A-lister. And then, to be perfectly honest, I don't care who they round out the rest of the Justice League with. I get them, but the ones I really want are the Batman, the Superman, and the Wonder Woman. And the one I want most out of all those is the Wonder Woman. And people will sit there and say, how's that a dream project? Hey, man, if you get 7 Justice League of America characters from MoffX, that's going to be more than any HasLab that's been solicited thus far. So I think it counts. I think it qualifies. So let's see who else is having fun here. Whew. Not much. Let's see here. What can I do? Oh, this is crazy. Sorry, guys. I keep seeing new buttons, and I keep thinking, ooh, let's play here for a second. But what else did I say? I know, Skew Raider, you talked about an X-Wing, and that was one of mine as well. See, we've been through the hut. Oh, the Havoc. The Havoc. The G.I. Joe classified team, if they did a Havoc, I would freak out. So I know a lot of people generally had, I don't know, like their vehicle that they love, and we'd all work for what we got as kids. We all know that. But we also, like with my parents, there was one vehicle that I think my assumption is they must have kind of thought it was cool too, because they said, if you remember the acronym for this one, then we'll get it for you. And that acronym stood for Heavy Articulated Vehicle Ordnance Carrier. And as ridiculous as the Havoc is, I would go nuts on that thing as far as some kind of G.I. Joe HasLab's concerned. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm a fan. Now, what do we got? We've seen the figures DC has been putting out, especially Wonder Woman, LOL. Dream Project is correct. Man, I love the Mafex DC stuff, but I have to be honest. Have you guys seen the DC Multiverse Wonder Woman from McFarlane? I know that they're always inconsistent, and I can't wait to see reviews to see if they kind of nail that Wonder Woman as far as the quality is concerned. But man, I want to see that thing. I hope that they nail it for all those DC Multiverse collectors. Okay. Whoops. Sorry about that. Gunstar, I've always wanted a Terrordrome. I would totally be on a classified Terrordrome with Firebat. Man, I wonder how they would do that. I think right now, Super7 might be the way for a Terrordrome, but I don't know. It's one of those things where Hasbro doesn't seem to be all in on their 3 3/4 line right now. But if they ever got there and decided to go nuts, they could add all kinds of little detail to the Terrordrome. As it is, it might be that, because I remember how that thing was structured, it was kind of even all the way around. Maybe they could sell it and you could just buy as many pieces as you wanted. So it almost made a Terrordrome pizza if you were looking at it from the top down, and the Firebat would just be something else you'd buy, or it would be included with something, or maybe each thing would come with 2 components in a Firebat. I don't know. I'm making things up as I go along, but a Terrordrome, especially at classified scale, that'd be killer. And it would kill our wallets, but who cares? There's other wallets we can get. Oh. Whoo, evening. Listening on my drive home. Thank you, Mr. Matson. Always appreciate the support. Love seeing you come through, man. Hopefully, when you get home, you can be like, all right, man, this is my dream project. And I do the whole reading on here thing. Let's see. It is better. The McFarlane Wonder Woman. I'm hoping, like, Skew Raider, I think that Wonder Woman looks really good. There's something about, she seems to have kind of bushy eyebrows, but overall, I think she looks fantastic. I just want her to function well. And it's kind of, McFarlane sort of has that same problem with Super7, where a lot of times they're just inconsistent in the QC area. So if they can dial that in, and same with Super7, I would feel much more comfortable picking up some of their stuff. But right now, getting any of their stuff always feels a little bit like a gamble, to me anyway. But different strokes, as I said earlier, for all that stuff. Gunstar, what do we have? Terrordrome with Firebat included. Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to come up with a way that Hasbro could do that where it wouldn't be just insanely huge and have to drop, like, because a great Terrordrome would probably end up costing, because it's going to be a lot more complicated than that Cat's Lair that Super7 dropped. I have to think a great Terrordrome like we're thinking is 800 without the Firebat. And so I keep trying to come up with ways, like, could they sell half one year and half the next year? And maybe each half comes with a Firebat or something, or break it down into thirds or quarters. The problem, again, like with my Millennium Falcon, the thing that I want the most would be you almost have to be in it for a few years, and you would almost have to sign a contract guaranteeing that you were in it, because you wouldn't want to start a project like that and end up, say, 3/4 of the way through and not have the money to be able to fund that last part. So I was just trying to come up with a way that the Falcon or the Terrordrome could be kind of done so it wouldn't murder the wallet right away. But again, we can always get another wallet. Scooter. Ah, I'd mix that one up with Marvel Legends Power Princess and Zezre Combatants if need be. Man, okay. So I don't get a lot of Marvel Legends, but I think like a lot of people, that second I saw that Power Princess, I was like, oh, look, Marvel Legends is doing Wonder Woman before McFarlane's doing Wonder Woman. But here's what McFarlane did that Legends didn't. She's got a ball hip at the waist, or a ball peg at the waist. Do you really want a ball hip? That would be uncomfortable. That's old school Toy Biz style. But yeah, man, so she's going to look natural when you turn her. She's going to look more natural when you bend her forward or back or side to side. That's my side to side. Yeah, she's going to be able to pose way better. And those Zezre figures, I didn't even think about combining those. I wonder if the skin tones would match up on any of them. Because, yeah, those things are sweet. I didn't get any, and I kind of lament it because they just look good. Whew. But yeah, I'm trying to think of, I'm going to end up stuck on things like, how can we make things practical? Even though I know there is no way that Hasbro or any other company is going to be able to do a lot of this stuff practically. Like, I'm thinking of Mofex trying to do that 89 Batmobile. That's not happening. That's just not happening. They're not going to be able to do it because I don't know that the market would be big enough. And with the pricing that they have to go with, we're looking at, I can't imagine any less than, say, $400 or $500. Now, if they did it, I would move hell and high water to get it. But yeah, it's going to be pricey if Mofex ever pulls that off. But by the way, I don't mind at all using my Hush Batman to drive my 89 Batmobile. That would be mwah. And then who'd ride shotgun, because we still need a Robin. I guess Nightwing could do that. All right. We have, piecemeal makes it more possible. Good call. Facts. Let's see. Piecemeal makes it more possible, Photo Day. Facts. Falcon or Terrordrome. Any big item, save money, patience makes it work. You know, I mean, that's true. It's a big thing, and it's tough to do that because even if you wanted to get something like that, let's say a financial situation changes, people lose their jobs, and the first thing to go is the expendable income and all that stuff. And that's where it gets tricky, and that's where the risk is for all these bigger companies or all these companies that would want to make high ticket items, I suppose. I like every time I stop to try and come up with a word, it's like this. It's very JD from Scrubs. And if you haven't seen Scrubs, go back and watch Scrubs. Skip season 9, but seasons 1 through 8, they're worth checking out. Oh, what else could we possibly have on deck here? Tell you what, let's see. That contract you mentioned is crucial. Peeps back out when they need to. Yes, gotta make sure they really want it. I know. And yet, would the community go for it? Like the community at large would be like, whoa, hang on. Now you're making us sign a contract? And I totally get it, because I'd look at that and think, that's kind of an insane idea. But maybe it's just the only way I see something that is that huge working. But that's just me sitting here spitballing it with you guys, trying to come up with something. Maybe if we all sat around in a room and tried to figure out, we would come up with a perfect solution. But yeah, I don't know. My only thing is, like, I have the big Millennium Falcon, the big one, and it's still underscaled for the vintage figures. And I know that the Ghost is underscaled, and I know that that's kind of a necessity, and I wouldn't want them to do that for the Black Series. I'm just not sure how they could get around that. So who knows? But yeah, thinking of thinking of the Terrordrome as a dream project, that would definitely qualify, I think. Yeah, I'm sitting here saying Havoc and you're firing off Terrordrome. Although I would prefer the Havoc to the Terrordrome, it would be very difficult to say to say no to the Terrordrome. So what else? If we're talking, let's talk DC Multiverse for a minute, McFarlane Toys. What would be a dream project that you guys think specifically McFarlane Toys could deliver on that maybe other companies you don't think could? Let's see. Gunstar. How about an X-Men Danger Room? Fans of modular, or tons of modular possibilities. I need a bigger monitor, I think, because the glasses don't even get it done. Yeah, a Danger Room, you're not kidding. And you wouldn't even need, like, you could come up with all kinds of traps in there and it would be basically walls. I think that one thing that's really going to find out or really help toy manufacturers know how big dioramas are as far as what the community wants is the Ramen Toys Musk. And I know I've talked about it before. I'm super stoked to get a hold of that thing. But if that sells insanely well and suddenly there are just tons of pictures all over Instagram and social media and wherever else and people doing videos on it, I think when you see that, people are going to start looking at it and say, okay, dioramas are a good idea. You always need one to take a plunge. You always need one company to take that gamble. The only trick here is that anyone else is going to have to price it a whole lot higher than Ace had to price it. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if people think that the demand's there and they can match the demand with the price point that all these companies want to use. Now, I made it go away. Gunstar is inspiration. Last Starfighter, 1/12. So many cool things to be made. Yep. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for making anything work that the people want. The only thing is I've got enough of the business thing going where I'm sitting here constantly thinking, how can we do this to serve the most amount of, because there are some fandoms that just aren't going to be able to support a huge item. G.I. Joe is not one of them, though, so it would be nice if they could figure out the Terrordrome. Star Wars isn't one of them, but figuring out something as huge as the Millennium Falcon might still be a trick. I keep making things go away. I'm all in on a 1/12 Gunstar set. All right, gentlemen, tell me, because I need to know things, and I'm a terrible nerd. What exactly is Gunstar? Or, here we go. Let's try this. Let's get on here. Let's get on the old YouTube. Gunstar Heroes. Whoa. This looks like a thing. Gunstar, the last Starfighter. Oh my. All right, guys, I'm going to share this screen. Let me know if this is what you're talking about. All right, I'm going to try to share the screen. Sorry, hang on. There's too many pop-ups that keep popping up, which I guess makes sense. All right. Is this the kind of thing you guys are talking about? Because those ships look wicked. I'd almost love those just to have crazy ships. Holy jeez. That's sorry, we have dead air as I'm sitting here absolutely amazed by what I'm seeing. Oh my God, these are some incredible ships. And so Gunstar, is it an anime? Is it a game? Help me out, boys. I need to know things. All right, let's see. The Last Starfighter star. Yes, it may be less fandom, supposedly, but a third party like Ramen could get a limited run made with enough fan support, make it quality, and come with the characters. Let's see. Yep, that's fire. You have to get commitment. The last Starfighter movie. How do I not know? Guys, I'm okay. Ready? This is how bad of a nerd I am. And thank you for all the information, Skew Raider. I'm a terrible nerd. I have not seen the original Aliens. I haven't seen Predator. Let's see. I haven't seen a lot of sci-fi. The only sci-fi I really got into as a kid was Star Wars. And then I did see Star Trek, like when it was all, let's see, when it was Captain Kirk and Spock, like I saw those movies. But for the most part, that's the sci-fi that I saw. So I don't know things clearly. Yeah, feel free to bust me or at least give me some suggestions in the chat here because that's horrible. That's horrible. I'm looking at these awesome ships and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, it sure would be nice if I knew a little more about those. So The Last Starfighter. And that was prime movie watching time for me. How I don't know about that, I have no idea. It sounds familiar, but 84. Was 84 the same year as Ghostbusters? Or Back to the Future? Or was that 85? I don't know. I know. I have a Google machine just the same as everybody else, so I suppose I could look it up to try and figure it out. But yeah, I'm thinking Gunstar might be something that would be awesome. So Ace, I know that you may not be listening because I don't have tons of people in here right now because a lot of other people went live, it looks like. Gunstar is just cool looking stuff. You could do that for any kind of general spaceship, depending on the support you got from the community. So yeah, give that a look. That thing's beautiful. Let's see. Yep, same year. Got it. Got it. Thanks again, Skew Raider. This is like I saw Back to the Future. I saw Ghostbusters. I saw a lot of the stuff that was super popular. Loved Gremlins. I even loved the new batch because I thought the Brain Gremlin was hilarious. But yeah, there's a lot that I missed. So, bad nerd. Gunstar, what do you got for us here? Let's see, they made Last Starfighter prototype figures in the 80s, but it was canceled. I'm not over it. I understand. I understand. I'm sure there's, if I thought about it, there, you know what I'm not over? Okay, so check out this story. I've never actually trusted people that work in retail. So no offense to anybody working in retail, but here's why that happened. Like people in customer service. So it's 1985. I called Toys R Us. It might have been 86 now that I think about it. I called Toys R Us and I'm like, hello, Toys R Us. Now, I have my sister at the time and all that. And for me to get into things, then I have to try and bring my sister on board to help talk the parents into making it happen, especially since mom was kind of against this line from the start. I'm like, hey, Toys R Us, do you guys have Flint and Lady J at the store? And they looked and they got on and they said, yep, we have tons of them. I'm like, awesome. All right, mom, let's go. And so we went to Toys R Us and the tons of Flint and Lady J ended up being a whole lot of Tomax and Zaymot. I was crushed. Those are cool characters, but they're not Flint and even Lady J. So yeah, that's my story of why I tend to not trust customer service and people that are on the floor retail places when I ask questions. I tend to try and do all my research beforehand. Let's see here. Skew Raider. There's so much cool stuff to be made, and that was out. I have not seen everything else, or I have not seen everything. Good man, good man. I feel better about myself. I love to talk about this too. Good memories. Awesome, man. Awesome. Whoop. Oh no, I'm all over the place. Not that we have tons of them. Like, oh, Skew Raider. It was ugly. Especially Flint has always been my favorite character in G.I. Joe. I did a video, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks back talking about why I was so stoked about Classified. And then I just tore into how evil Duke is. And that was pretty much all the comments about that video is, Duke, why does everybody hate Duke? And I never responded to any of those. I need to get back and get a little better about my YouTube responsing time, folks, and shaking things. We're going with responsing time. Yeah. How about, let's see. So we talked to little McFarlane. Super 7, I know that I've just put out stuff where I'm saying how I would love them to be awesome, but I need consistency. So here's the deal. Let's pretend that Super 7 is insanely consistent when it comes to their quality control. What is something that you would love to see come out of Super 7's Ultimates line? Obviously, I think an answer that everybody's going to love is going to be the Technodrome. But if there's something else, let me know. And I did hear Geek Dad Life was talking to Kyle, who's the guy, it sounds like, who's in charge of the Turtles Ultimates line. And he was trying to push the Technodrome, and Kyle was saying, I don't know, that's pretty big. But Jay said, how about just like the toy? The toy wasn't massive like we saw in the cartoon, and at that point, it got my attention because, I mean, Super 7 primarily seems to be doing the toy inspired stuff. But if you saw that Technodrome by Super 7, it would be probably fairly similar to the Cat's Lair. I think it'd look pretty cool. All right. Skew Raider again. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I hope they keep making more vehicles for Turtles and Thundercats. Good stuff, man. I still don't have anything from Super 7, but if I could, I would go nuts for that party wagon. I just think that party wagon looks awesome. And I remember having, I mean, obviously a lot of us remember having the turtles when we were kids, but there was just something a little extra fun when it came to the party wagon. It was a blast. And their recreation plus all kind of the added details they put in, I think it looks great, but it has stickers. Has stickers. Stupid stickers. Still, if I could, I would. And I'm trying to think of other stuff. What if Super 7? I think Super 7 could actually do a blimp because the blimp part's just a big balloon kind of thing. And the vehicle parts, I wonder how crazy they could get with that. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe a foot cruiser. You're right, man. There's a lot they could do. Let's see. Ooh, Silverhawks, huh? Hmm. I don't know my Silverhawks very well either. I don't know my Thundercats very well. I basically know, okay, here's my sphere of influence. Here's the stuff I know. I know Star Wars, I know GI Joe, I know Transformers, I know Turtles mostly. I know Masters of the Universe mostly. See, obviously Marvel and DC, I think a lot of us grew up knowing that stuff. So that's basically my wheelhouse. Those are the things I really know fairly well. But outside of that, my Silverhawks knowledge, it went the way of basically all my last Starfighter knowledge. Let's see. Skew Raider. Glad you waited. Get them on sale. You know what? It's possible that I could get it on sale at some point. I mean, I have my with my affiliate link and all that stuff with Entertainment Earth, I can get it for 10% off when it gets in stock anyway. And if things continue how they are, sadly with recession type stuff and people holding on to money a little tighter, maybe it would go down more. I don't know. That would be entertaining for me. But right now, the Musk is my top priority. Let's see. Blip would be awesome. My neighbors across the street had it. They love that thing. Great memories, man. Yeah, I was lucky. I had when it came to the vehicles, I had the blimp, I had the party wagon, and I had the cheapskate. I don't think I had any of the other ones. But imagine Super 7 just doing a cheapskate. How much fun would that be? And if they have, I clearly missed it. But that would be fun because you could probably get a few of those and it might not break the bank. I can't imagine a cheapskate would be, I'd have to think it would be around the same price as a regular Ultimates figure, but I'm just not sure. Yeah, good times. Now, what else can we think of? Obviously, I don't want to talk Hasbro all that much, not because anything against what they're doing. They're already pretty deep into the Dream Project stuff. So we don't need to worry about them. Mattel kind of is, but if you guys are into wrestling or Masters of the Universe, what kind of, or anything else Mattel does, what kind of dream project would you like to see from them? I know that Mattel just did the thing where we saw tons of little things that you could vote on. And personally, I've always liked the Horde playset, but I did hear somebody say that the Horde playset would do great at retail because it's not huge. And I like that idea. That would be all right. I'd be a fan. Let's see. Gunstar. Super 7 would be perfect to get the Thundar the Barbarian 3-pack heroes with all their steeds. Don't know if it'd need to be a crowdfund, though. I don't know. I think you're probably right. Because what did they do? What was the figure from Silverhawks? Was it Silverhawks? Help me out, guys, because I might be off here. There was somebody that made a figure that went on a thing and they sold the thing separately. I'm thinking that was Silverhawks, where they made the character and then they made the vehicle that that character would normally ride and they sold them separately. And then I think later on, maybe they sold them together. That might be a route that they could take with Thundar and all those things. Let's see. Clearly, I don't know my stuff. Into wrestling, I want a better, cheaper WCW Nitro stage setup. I like the ring they're dropping, want more filmation based figures and vehicles. And I'm trying to think back to, I sit here and I say I kind of know He Man. I had a bunch of the stuff and I remember watching the cartoon all the time. Besides the, basically the thing that they showed, the attack track, I think it was called, that was the huge, like, camper looking one that they showed in the voters things. What other vehicles from Filmation had they not made in the regular Masters of the Universe line? That's something because I'm trying to think of stuff. I would have loved, so I was a big Horde guy. I would have loved that Horde tank, but I don't get Masters of the Universe stuff. So I didn't feel it was quite right if I got into voting, though my sister blew it for me a couple years ago. She got me, and this just so happens I have these out here. She got me Skelly here, Origins, and you can't have Skeletor without He-Man. So I went and got him way back when too, just a couple years ago. So those are the entirety of my Motu collection, which may or may not grow depending on how much I love the Turtles at Grayskull line when that starts dropping. But spoiler alert, I think I'm going to really love that one. So hopefully the wallet doesn't decide to just pick up and leave. Okay, Skew Raider, thanks again, man. Yep, that was Monstar. Silverhawks, LOL. Yep, me not knowing things. Also, did that with Thundercats Mandara. I think that's the one I was thinking of. Is what's your name? It was Mandora, or was it? I can't remember exact stuff, but I think that's the one I was thinking of. Let's see. That attack track was fire. Also, the Skeletor collector. I'd also love them to make John Blackstar and add that into Masters of the Universe. Oh, see, that would be kind of cool. I wouldn't have thought of that, even though like Marvel Legends has put in Crystar recently. It would be weird if that's a way that Mattel started reintroducing some of their older brands, is bringing in some of that stuff into the Masters line, because those are guaranteed. Like Masters seems to be a pretty guaranteed seller for a lot of fans. Then you start introducing those, see how well those sales go. Maybe those lead into lines of their own. Who knows? People are crazy. Let's see. The collector, that big skull ship he had. Oh, okay. I was trying to remember what Skeletor's collector was. Thank you, sir. Let's see. I did vote for that Horde tank. Would have been great. Man, yeah, the Horde was awesome. And that was one thing I have to say, when my sister got me Skeletor, clearly I had to go out and buy He-Man. But the only stuff I've really been tempted by since Mattel really went nuts with Origins has been any of the evil Horde characters. Now, I would be beyond tempted with their Masterverse stuff because I think some of that just looks insanely good if they had ball pegs at their waists. And hopefully, I know that the larger corporations are just slower to maneuver, but hopefully Mattel brings that in, because at that point, I'm not sure I can keep saying no to Masters of the Universe. And Lord knows I really don't need another collection, but if we got a character like the Whiplash they showed or the Clawful with ball peg waists, I would have to depart with my money. Yep, that Horde tank was definitely awesome. Eric Edelman, thank you, sir. Thanks for stopping by. Hello there. So we're sitting here talking dream projects right now. We just got into what we think a dream project that Mattel could make for us would be, such as, I don't know, we're thinking mostly along the lines of Masters of the Universe and wrestling stuff. And fair warning, I know almost nothing about wrestling stuff. I know Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, and Macho Man, because who didn't know Macho Man? But that was just, I watched wrestling. My cousin was into it, and I watched it with him for like a year or two, and that was that. I do not fit cleanly into any action figure Venn diagram. Oh yeah, Masterverse figs with ball joint waists. Man, I would go nuts for those. I would, and I'm not a Motu guy. But whereas some companies, you look at their stuff and you're like, I don't know. I think the sculpts with Masterverse, I think they're crushing it. And if they had those ball peg waists, I would not be able to resist. It would be bad. Let's see. The best. Yup. Yup. Ball peg waists are basically the way of the present. So anyone who hasn't gotten there yet, they got to step up their game, because how else am I supposed to part with my money? All right, so we went over some Mattel. We went over talking about Super7 a bit. I didn't want to say much when it came to Hasbro just because they've already done so many. Who else? Who's got, oh, we talked about McFarlane a little bit. NECA. Who has a dream project for NECA? This is something that could be nuts. Let's see. You know, I buy Origins, and if they had bicep swivel and ball waists, oh my God. Yeah, you're not kidding, man. Like, I'm looking at Skeletor and He-Man right now, the Origins ones, and there's something about the way they do the waist twists where I would for sure prefer ball peg waists. No doubt. That is the way of the present, like I said, I guess. But the way that they do the waist cuts with belts and everything on them, you don't see them as much when it comes to photography. But the bicep swivel for sure is necessary with those bad boys. But I kind of understand what they're doing with Origins too, kind of the throwback. And if they keep adding articulation, ooh, I don't know. I don't know how pricey these things would get. One thing I do wonder, since the bigger companies, since Mattel and Hasbro aren't going to ball peg waist with some of their lines, like Marvel Legends for Hasbro and Motu, and I think wrestling for Mattel. And let me know if I'm wrong, guys, because whenever I look up a wrestling figure review just to see what they're up to, it looks like it's just a waist cut. But if there are some with ball pegs, let me know. But there went the train of thought. But yeah, I get it. But how much cost would it add for those bigger companies to add a ball peg instead of the waist cut? And I do wonder a little bit about that. I don't think it would be crazy, but they'd have to just decide to do it, because it would be an initial expense up front, which I guess is what initial expense means, and just see what happened. I don't know, like for me, I want it badly. Maybe other people don't want it so bad, so maybe the cost that maybe they feel the cost to develop it wouldn't be worth the people that would pick up the figures. I'm not sure. There's totally a better way to say that. My brain died a little bit there. Okay. Gunstar. Got to step out for now. Take care. You too, man. Thanks very much for swinging by. Appreciate it. Eric, right? It's a throwback. Mattel Wrestling are waist cuts. Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to know, because I keep hoping. I would like, because I don't know anything about most of the wrestling figures. I guess I do know The Rock and John Cena as well, but that's more them transitioning into Hollywood and all that good stuff. But because I don't know those very well, I would like to grab some to just be goons for my other collections, people for the teams to beat up on, something like what Shartimus Prime was doing with Street Humans, but with wrestlers that are already out there on the shelves. It would be nuts, but they'd have to have the ball pegs. I'm even getting so picky at this point where I'm looking at my classified figures and saying, okay, these Cobra Troopers have ball pegs, but other troopers out there, like in Valaverse, have a lot of extra hands. This is where I keep thinking, okay, as these smaller companies innovate, I want to see other companies catch up. That would make me happy. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. See, NECA Dream would be a Pee Wee Herman collection, similar to their TMNT film collection. Oh my. Imagine the Pee Wee Herman living room playset from NECA. NECA took a lot of heat with their turtle lair, but that playset, that would be kind of hilarious. I didn't watch a lot of Pee Wee, but I'm remembering Cherry right now. Yeah, that interior. They could literally make a living room, like what others would think of as just a little box, and it would be perfect for Pee Wee's Playhouse. Let's see. Eric, I also bought some cheap wrestler figures in suits for photos. Yep, that might work. I should try something like that. That'd be sweet. I keep wondering. Like, I think that the tombstone that's coming out from Marvel Legends, I think that's a pretty good body that they could use for most anybody to have to throw down with, like your heroes fighting people in that body. But who knows? Who knows? Screw Raider. All right. Drop that pricing and it'll sell. Pee Wee's word of the day would be success. Ah, love that idea. Yeah, that would be, Eric, since you brought that up, even though, I mean, like I said, I was a weird kid. I didn't get into a lot of the stuff that a lot of people did. I guess, yeah, anyway. But thinking about it, that would be right up NECA's alley. But how long could they keep a line like that going? Like, so you would have to make it a Pee Wee Ultimates collection, and how many characters would really be able to show up? And I'm sure there's tons of variations, and NECA lives off that stuff. But would that be a line that you could really only see going for a year or two? I'm not sure. It'd still be fun to do. And I know I heard Randy talking to one of the guys that was doing all the interviews at one of the recent conventions. That's very specific of me, where he was talking about how he got to meet Pee Wee. They had worked with Pee Wee to create what NECA was working on. At the time, I think it was one of their 8-inch figures, but I'm not sure. Or maybe it was one of the Toonie Terror kind of things. Don't know. But yeah, they at least had Pee Wee's permission to do stuff. I don't know about his estate. But now that you're saying all this, I'm thinking, wow, that could be a line that has a few legs, and a lot of people were into Pee Wee. It would probably be something that could last a while and make NECA some money, which ultimately that's what they got to do. See, background goons. Let's see. Eric. So, okay, here's what's up. Here's what I'm trying to figure out. So many buttons. What characters showed up? Did a lot of characters show up in Pee Wee's Playhouse? Like, you'd have to, like, I'm basically blanking on anybody but Pee Wee and Cherry, though the living room's coming back to me a little bit. So it would be nice to know. That could be a line. If NECA's not already working on it, that could actually be a full-on Ultimates line. Kind of like they're doing the Universal Monsters and all the other horror stuff that they do. Doesn't quite fit too neatly into horror, but neither do the Turtles. So much to think about when all that stuff comes about. I'm trying to think of what I'd want from NECA. From the licenses they have now, I don't even know that there's much left. I mean, obviously, I want them to fill out the Mirage line and maybe April's van, like the VW microbus from the comics. That'd be kind of sweet. And obviously, they're already making vans, so we know they can do it. But yeah, I'm not sure that I love Mirage, but I don't know that I'd get that van, which is why when I make suggestions like that, it almost feels disingenuous because I like the darker and grittier stuff, but I also want to mix the goofy in with my stuff. Like I'm looking at Super7 and hoping their Wingnut and Screw Loose comes out really well and that their Gorilla comes out really well. Those would make me happy. All right. Eric, the likeness rights would be hard. Let's see. Lawrence Fishburne, Phil Hartman, the actress that did Miss Yvonne. I didn't know Phil Hartman was on there. I was just talking about I had friends hosted a Friendsgiving over the weekend and we got started talking about Phil Hartman. That'd be a blast. Phil Hartman basically in any incarnation would be awesome. Lawrence Fishburne also very awesome. I wonder though, yeah, they'd have to deal with Phil Hartman's estate. Ooh, I didn't know that they had so many people on there. Let's see. One film collection. Cowboy Curtis, Terry, Rebo the Mail Lady. Wait, Reba. Missy Bond, Cherry, King of Cartoons, Jambi. Wow. So what do you think? I think they really could do a line. Let's see. Film collection. Always wanted to from Very Gordy Last Dragon movie with Bruce Leroy. I don't know that at all. I'll have to look that up. See, let's see here. Huh. Barry Gordy knew what was up. Phil Hartman, they go back to Groundlings days, him and Pee Wee. Oh, I didn't know that either. I didn't know, what was Pee Wee Herman, I guess Paul Rubens, what was his start in everything? Like the first thing I really know from him is Pee Wee's Big Adventure. But we were trying to figure out where a bunch of comedians started. And one of the things that was interesting is we were looking up Dana Carvey because people didn't know, like if he got a start at Second City or anything. He got his start acting in movies. Like you look up his IMDb and he was just an extra in a bunch of stuff until he worked his way up to being on SNL. Just craziness. Let's see. Ooh. 1/12 G.I. Joe Adventure Team seats or sets. Good Lord. Charlie Tatum, thank you for joining the live stream, man. Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet too. How would you want them to do their heads? Would you want the hair or would you just want it to look like them with the plastic hair? There's the curiosity. Ski Raider. Movie night, The Last Starfighter and The Last Dragon. Ski Raider, I might. There's so many movies I need to check out. Like I'll be in the store and I'll see a Predator figure and I'm like, man, I really gotta see Predator so I can decide whether or not I want the figure. But I think Jungle Hunter would have to be the one I'd get. So there's a lot of movies I need to check out. I needs the time to check out such things. Ski Raider. Pee Wee had an HBO special and Phil Hartman and his other friends from Groundlings showed up. Miss Yvonne was there too. He was true to his peeps. Miss Yvonne, was that her stage name and she was just a recurring character on Pee Wee? Or was it, I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. If that was her stage name or if maybe she was on stage as her real name. I don't know things. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot that I need to watch. What movies have you guys missed out on? We've only got a couple minutes left, but hey, let me know what are some that you've missed out on that it seems like the rest of the world has seen. Because I can't be alone. You can't just leave me hanging out here as being the only person who hasn't seen every pop culture movie ever. Let's see. Paul Rubens started out doing small extra work in films. He was in Cheech and Chong. Was he really? Oh man. Yeah, now I have to go back. You guys suck because now I have homework. Predator. Predator 1 and Predator 2 will be another awesome movie night. You will be inspired for crazy pics with figures. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Now I'm going to need a jungle set, I think. That was her character's stage name, Miss Yvonne. Pee Wee is hilarious with her parts. on the old HBO special. Was he, when he did the HBO special, was that him being Pee Wee Herman, or did he do it as Paul Rubens? Because that might be something I'd want to look up. So yeah, get that thing answered, and then we'll call it a night. Sadly, I have to get up early because I try and do the exercising thing, and then I have to be in some kind of big networking thing at 8 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, I'm not gonna get up early. I never get up early. So we'll see what happens with all that. Hopefully, theoretically, I'll be able to keep these going a little longer on Monday nights. But right now, just for all of you guys that are in here, so you know, I'm likely going to try and do, there's going to be another live stream in the next few days. It's either going to be on Thanksgiving, so like Pixgiving, I don't know, I'll make up something for that, or it's going to be on Sunday because I would miss Thursday. So just stay tuned, look out for all the upcoming live stream announcements. We'll see what happens, but it's dependent on time. I'm going to be out of town over the weekend, but I'm still going to be able to do some kind of live streaming possibly on Thursday. So we'll see. Anyway, folks, thank you a ton for stopping by. It's always a blast to sit here and chat nerd stuff with everybody else, because I don't know people that really want to chat nerd stuff when it comes to figures. I do know nerds, and for that, I am thankful. So, what do we have? Oh, we got to get a couple more in. You putzes. All right. Let's see. Yes, that was his first big comedy special as Pee Wee Herman, which led to his movie. Oh, okay. I got it. Thank you, Eric. Let's see. Enemy Mine from Matthew Matson, Last Starfighter, Alien, Star Trek. Let's see. The original series, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Babylon 5, Farscape, Firefly, Stargate, Battlestar Galactica. You know what's fun for me? I know people are big time into Firefly, so I've never seen it. I don't know if I'd like it or not, but when I find out people are big time into Firefly, I kind of sit back and say, yeah, Firefly was okay, just to watch people freak out. You guys know that. Shh, don't tell any of my friends, because they would totally then be in on the joke and I wouldn't have as much fun. Let's see. Awesome stream, y'all. Happy holidays. Thank you, Skew Raider. Happy holidays to you as well, man. Appreciate it. Enemy Mine, great movie. All right, folks. Well, I appreciate everybody stopping by, and now I'm going to end this before you keep me up way later than my bedtime. So, as always, have fun, happy snapping, and I'll see you whenever the next live stream is.